So the Atlantic put a really great article out, basically saying what happened to Liz Truss can't happen here. And I had my own reaction to it and kind of made me want to make my own statement about it. I feel very strongly like the United States is just, the way that its system politically is just broken by design. I mean, the framers fucked up, you know. And we still worship them today, worship of the framers is a massive mistake. The truth of the matter is that why wish Liz Truss was, incompetent and the spectacle was embarrassing for Britain, and England, England slash the Great Britain. What, there's a silver lining in that they actually did manage to sack Liz Truss. Here at home, partisanship is so fierce that if you were incompetent, it's irrelevant. The system won't purge you since negative partisanship has absolutely exploded. By the way, I am part of the problem there. I don't trust the Republicans further than I can throw them. I think that they will break this country if they, I'm very worried about what happens when Republicans are in charge. They fuck the place up worse, and even when they aren't in power, they lash out in resentment and fuck the place up worse. They put party over country, and they always have. But moving on, also it furthers my argument that I've been making for a while that the United States was formed before the world understood that parliaments went on immune to being corrupted, but were immensely superior to our congressional system in terms of holding the politicians accountable and airing grievances. You know, Truth is, our bicameral Congress and the form and structure of government is flawed and inferior to Parliament. And frankly, the problem with our executive branch, or in terms the presidency, is somewhat who serves, but it's far more so the existence of the office itself. And regardless of who's in it, imagine the president's having to answer to PMQs like the British Prime Minister has to. Liz Truss says collapse shows that British democracy is working, unlike American democracy, which is failing. A functional democracy requires voters that are willing to change their minds. Well, based on evidence before them. Well, our country has people that when they see evidence that argues with their most cherished beliefs will just double down on them and distort reality in order to cling to the delusions that they believe in. And the only thing I could say, well, is at least I sacked her, which would never happen here in the United States. I wrote my article that was in response to Liz Truss, which I have no, the Atlantic, I mean, which links some stuff from Ask Andrew Anything about, the British system and why it is, really but a lot better at actually, holding politicians to account than our system. And these will both be in the underbar of this video in particular. The scandal that transpired over there is, demonstrated for the fact that, the English system is actually working. The democracy over there is actually functioning. Ours is dying. Like authoritarianism is taking over, and it's in such a way where nobody ever questions dear leader. It's a problem here at home. I may be like, part of you know the Biden coalition coming forward in 2024 at least. But the truth of the matter is that I don't think that we should worship the guy or treat him like he's some kind of fucking messiah. He will misstep. He will make mistakes. It's inevitable for anybody that's in that position. And you know, like I said, and like the Atlantic said, a functioning democracy requires people that are willing to change their minds. And that's exactly what we saw take place in Great Britain. With the Liz Truss scandal. It was a spectacle and it was humiliating for the aisle, and we can all point and laugh at England for it and everything. But at the end of the day, beyond the joke is the truth that, it shows that things are actually working over there. You know, it's scary and sad what's happening here on the home front in America. Negative partisanship has made it such has created such a side effect that is nasty, which is just that it's eroding accountability because of the fact that we now have to contend with the fact that, we feel that the Democrats are fucked up or the Democrats have made a lot of mistakes. But, for instance, from my side of the aisle, that, I'm even more afraid that the other side will fuck up even worse. Negative partisanship has made it so, like, you don't have the option of defecting and going, to the Green Party or towards some third party because or even, switching to the Republicans because you're terrified of them and what happens if they actually, win the election, the consequences of it, and that you don't fucking trust the other side of the aisle. And it's the same in reverse. If you're a Republican voice, you think the Democrats are a massive problem. And then if they get in power, they'll fuck the place up worse. And so you can't hold your leaders accountable because you're terrified of what happens if a Democrat gets elected. I mean, it goes both fucking ways at this point, and it's causing real problems because it means that none of us can actually hold our leaders accountable as a result. And I speak for like the majority of us in this regard when it comes to negative partisanship. I mean, it is on the rise, and it's now basically the majority of the public has strong feelings of discontent and distrust for the other party should it actually happen to take power. We just don't trust them. The thing with me though is that I don't even trust the Republicans when they're in the minority because they've proven that they make a fucking mess of things, even when they're in the minority.